if you're listening, you've probably been there. You walk into a room for an interview, a big presentation, maybe the first day of a huge new job.
Or even just trying to rebuild after a layoff.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the stakes just feel impossibly high.
Mm-hmm.
And then this really frustrating thing happens. Intellectually, you're capable, you have the skills, the experience.
The proof is on your resume.
Right. But the second that pressure hits, all that confidence, it just vanishes.
Yeah, you find yourself sort of stumbling over ideas, by heart.
Your heart starts racing, sweaty palms.
Yeah.
The whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
It completely derails you.
That gap, the one between what you know you can do and how you feel when you need it most, that's what we're going to get into today.
And I think the most important thing to say right at the start is, you are not broken. This isn't some unique flaw you have.
Not at all. It's a completely human, predictable, physiological response. And just understanding where it comes from, the root cause, that's the first step to managing it.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's start with the biology.
Mm-hmm.
Why does something like a job interview, which isn't physically dangerous, trigger such a physical reaction?
It's because your nervous system is, above all else, designed for protection. That's its number one job.
And keep you safe.
Exactly. So when it perceives a threat, and a threat to your stability or your identity or your financial future counts, it registers that with the same primal urgency as, a bear in the woods.
This is not using logic, it's just sounding an alarm.
Precisely. That high-stakes moment triggers your amygdala, the brain's alarm center, and it immediately signals for stress hormones to be released. We're talking mainly about adrenaline and cortisol.
Adrenaline, I think we all know. That's the immediate energy kick, the racing heart.
Right. That's your body preparing for physical action, the classic fight or flight response. But the more insidious part of this is the cortisol.
Okay. What does that do?
Well, when cortisol floods your system, its job is to shut down any non-essential functions to conserve energy for survival.
And what's non-essential in that moment?
Critically, it starts to inhibit the activity in your prefrontal cortex.
Which is the smart, logical part of the brain.
The smart, logical, planning part of your brain. Yeah. It's where you do all your clear articulation, your complex problem solving, where you structure your stories.
Wow. So think about that for a second. The exact moment you need to be your most articulate and strategic self
is the moment your body is actively reducing blood flow to the very region of the brain responsible for that performance.
So what feels like a sudden drop in intelligence is actually just brain chemistry.
It's your brilliant primal chemistry kicking in to protect you from what it sees as danger. So when your thoughts are racing or you just freeze up mid-sentence, that isn't a lack of mental toughness.
It's a physiological response.
And a profoundly unhelpful one in a professional setting. But the reframe is everything. Self-doubt under pressure is chemistry, not character. Once you see it that way, you can stop fighting the feeling and start managing the execution.
Okay, that's a huge shift right there. So if we accept that this is biological, what's the next step?
The next step is making a really critical distinction, one that changes everything. And that's the difference between simple nervousness and true unpreparedness.
But they can feel almost identical in the moment.
Yeah.
Right, that same shaky feeling.
They feel incredibly similar, but they need totally different solutions. Let's define nervousness first.
Okay.
Nervousness is just energy. It's your body's way of saying, hey, this moment matters. It's actually functional.
So it can be a good thing.
A certain level of it, absolutely. It sharpens your focus. It keeps you present. I'd argue if you went into a huge interview feeling zero nerves, you might actually underperform.
So nervousness is something you manage, not eliminate.
Exactly. It's the hum under the hood. You can't just think your way out of that kind of pure nervous energy.
Okay, so then what's unpreparedness? That sounds worse.
It's where the real crisis of self-doubt happens. Unpreparedness is that sinking feeling when you realize the fear isn't about the high stakes. It's about the execution.
Can you give an example?
Sure. It's when an interviewer asks, tell me about a time you handled conflict, and you realize that you've thought about it in your head, but you've never actually structured that specific story out loud.
So you're scrambling.
You're scrambling for the words, trying to build the plane while you're flying it, hoping this perfect story just materializes on the spot.
And here's the thing. Most people feel that adrenaline, and they just label it anxiety or nerves.
They do, and so they try to solve it with, breathing exercises or trying to calm down, which are great tools, but they don't fix the root problem.
If the root problem is that you don't know what you're going to say.
Exactly. If the real problem is execution uncertainty, the fear you won't deliver when it counts, then meditation alone is not going to save you. What feels like paralyzing anxiety is often just your brain panicking because it doesn't have the right scaffolding.
So your solution has to split.
It has to. You manage the biological response, the nervousness, with things like breath and visualization, but you solve the execution uncertainty, the unpreparedness, with preparation. You prepare your way out of feeling lost.
So how do you know if you're actually prepared? I mean, where's the line? I think a lot of people think they're prepared when they're not.
The key question to ask yourself is this: how much have you practiced out loud?
Not just thinking about the answers in your head on the drive over.
No. Actually vocalizing your stories, hearing them, timing them, maybe even getting feedback on them. When you've rehearsed your key narratives so much that they feel natural, not robotic but instinctual, your confidence in your ability to execute just skyrockets.
So even if your heart is still pounding.
Even then, the anxiety doesn't consume you because the framework is secure. You know what you're going to say, and you trust yourself to say it.
That leads really well into the third piece of this, which is reclaiming a sense of control. Because these moments feel so uncomfortable because so much is genuinely out of our hands.
It is, and that feeling of powerlessness is a huge driver of anxiety.
And we should validate that first. You can't control the job market or if there's an internal candidate they already love.
You can't control if the interviewer is having a bad day, focusing on all of that external stuff. It's a direct path to helplessness and more self-doubt.
So you have to pivot. You have to focus entirely on agency, on the list of things you absolutely can control.
That's where real grounded power comes from. You walk in knowing you've done the work.
So let's break that down. What are some of those actionable control points?
Okay, let's go through 5. Control point 1 is mastery of your story.
Meaning more than just the bullet points on your resume.
Much more. It's understanding the narrative arc of your career. It's identifying your superpower and connecting your past wins to the problems this new role is trying to solve. You should have a concise, practiced, impactful answer to tell me about yourself.
Because that sets the tone for everything else.
It frames the entire conversation. You control that framing.
Okay, what's number 2?
Control point 2, practicing out loud. We just covered it, but it's the core remedy for unpreparedness. Turn those mental ideas into verbal muscle memory.
Using a framework like SCAR for behavioral questions.
Right. Situation, task, action, result. And here's a concrete tip. Record yourself answering a question. Listen back. Do you sound articulate or hesitant? You control the quality of your rehearsal.
And that builds the scaffolding you were talking about.
Exactly. Next, control point 3. Managing your physical pacing.
Your body language.
And your speech.
Yeah.
You absolutely control your nonverbal communication. The most common mistake people make under pressure is they speed up. They talk way too fast.
Which just signals anxiety to the interviewer and makes you feel more rattled.
Right. So, own your tempo. Practice starting every answer with a deliberate, deep breath. Slow down your speech by, say, 25%. Use pauses.
Pausing feels so powerful when you see someone else do it.
It is. It signals you're thoughtful, you're in command, and it gives your brain a second to catch up. You can control the rhythm of the room.
I love that. Okay, number 4.
Control point 4 is thorough research and context. This means going way beyond the job description.
You control your knowledge base.
Yes. Read their latest quarterly report, check LinkedIn for news, listen to an interview with one of their executives. This allows you to turn abstract answers into specific insights.
Instead of saying, I'm a good problem solver.
You can say, given your recent shift into the APAC market, which I saw in your Q3 press release, my experience with those regulatory hurdles would be directly applicable. That depth is entirely in your control, and it reads as expertise.
It shows you've done the work. Okay, last one. Number 5.
Control point 5. Controlling the mental narrative. This is about the visualization leading up to the moment.
Are you spending the night before spiraling into worst-case scenarios?
Or are you actively engaging in grounded visualization? And this isn't magical thinking, it's mental rehearsal. Spend 5 minutes visualizing success. Walking in, shaking hands, breathing calmly, delivering your opening with clarity.
And leaving feeling proud of your effort, no matter what the outcome is.
Exactly. You control the mental script you feed your brain. When you focus on these 5 things, your story, practice, pacing, research, and mental narrative, you shift from helpless to empowered.
You walk in knowing you did everything you could. And that's a kind of armor against the self-doubt.
It's a heavy armor.
Now, Before we wrap up, I just want to speak directly to anyone who might be in a really tough professional season right now.
Yeah, maybe the job search has gone on for months, you're carrying the weight of a layoff.
Or you're starting over, and that confidence you used to have just feels like a distant memory. The stakes feel higher than ever.
And it's so important to remember that struggling in a tough season is not the same as failing. High-stakes moments are hard for everyone, even the people who look totally calm.
They're not immune to the self-doubt.
No, they've just built the skills to manage it. And it is a skill that you can build step by step.
So if that feeling of confidence is just not there right now, what can you hold on to?
I have two final thoughts, and they're focused purely on action. Number one, you don't have to feel confident to act confident.
Action comes first.
Action almost always precedes the feeling. If you wait until you feel perfectly ready, you'll wait forever. So just focus on the actions of confidence. Take the breath. Slow your speech. Use your practice stories. The feeling will eventually follow the behavior.
And number two.
Number two, courage often just looks like showing up, even when you are deeply unsure you are ready.
Just taking that next step.
Taking the step, doing the interview, giving the presentation, even when that anxious voice is screaming at you, that is the very definition of professional courage. It's how you build the skill of managing pressure.
So let's just do a quick recap of the 3 core insights we covered in this deep dive.
Okay, first, self-doubt in these moments is a biological protective response. It is not a personal failing, it's just chemistry.
Second, make that critical distinction between nervousness and unpreparedness. They feel similar, but they need different solutions. You solve execution uncertainty with specific out-loud practice.
And third, focus your energy exclusively on what you can control. Your story, your practice, your pacing, your research. That's the path to feeling grounded when it matters most.
You are absolutely more capable than that anxious, cortisol-fueled voice in your head wants you to believe.
Ground yourself in your preparation, focus on your agency, and just show up. That is the winning formula.
And if you do have an interview or a big career moment coming up and you feel like you need some tactical one-on-one support for these high-pressure situations, WRAC Career Services offers comprehensive interview performance coaching. It's designed specifically for these challenges.
You can visit our website for more details on how we can help you turn that nervous energy into a really sharp focus.